if you ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or thought life was too overwhelming, that no matter your situation, the things that happen to you in life, you can take control of those. I became quadriplegic at 20 years old. One moment, my life was completely normal, and the next, everything changed in an instant. Most people thought my future was gone, my life was over, but I refused to let that define me. And somehow I built financial freedom from a wheelchair. In this video, I'm going to share some of the lessons that I took from living on a pension to owning multiple rental properties, or while in a wheelchair. And by the end, you'll see that no matter your situation, the things that happen to you in life, you can take control of those, and you can take control of your money as well. So if you ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or thought life was too overwhelming, watch closely, because this might just change your life so you can see what's possible. I was 20 years old. I was living a normal life. I was studying, I was working, and then all of a sudden, bang, my life changed. I spent 6 months in hospital. I lost my job. I couldn't study. I was stuck in hospital doing rehab. And I thought my life was over. I thought that my life could never, ever be the same again. I thought that was going to be my end in life. I was going to be stuck there. But eventually, I did rehab. And eventually, I got stronger. And eventually, I learned how to do things differently, newly. And one of the biggest questions I had to ask myself, not why me, why this circumstance, why this, but what's next? I woke up in the hospital bed, unable to move my body. I couldn't see my legs, couldn't feel my legs, stuck in a neck brace, couldn't even lift my arms. And I realized that it was scary, but I didn't want to let that define me. I'll be honest, it was devastating. Most people thought that my life was over. My friends and my family, even strangers, looked at me differently. There was pity on me. And honestly, I felt I had lost. I had no clue how I was going to work, how I was going to live, or even how to dress myself. I had to learn all again. My independence, my dreams, my plans, everything it felt like it had been ripped right from underneath. But in the darkness, I realized something crucial. My situation didn't have to define my future. I couldn't change what happened to me, but I could control what I did next. That's what I talked about. What next? What can I do now I'm in this situation? I made a decision in that hospital bed. I promised to myself that I wasn't going to let this stop me. That decision to fight, to learn, to grow became my foundation that everything followed. It was some of the hardest moments of my life, but it was also moments that changed. After the incidents, I spent weeks just trying to wrap my head around everything that was going on. But somewhere in the pain, I realized something important. My circumstances didn't dictate, they didn't define my future. I could let this break me. I saw many people around me in hospital, similar circumstances, some worse, some better, and it was defining them. They thought their life was over. I remember one gentleman that was close to me was trying to raise funds to get to Amsterdam to commit euthanasia. Terrible. He thought his life was completely over. And I knew that it was a mental shift. I was like, I can't use my body the way I used to. I used to work. I had jobs, physical labor jobs. I was just a laborer. I would do work at McDonald's as a young kid. I worked at a sign company, lifting things and welding, and all those sorts of things. Had jobs doing physical labor stuff. And I realized that I still got my brain. I still got my mind. How do I use that muscle? How to develop that skill, the thing that I have still function of? How do I help use that to grow me? I knew I had to start small. I couldn't move much. I couldn't even save much money on a pension. And honestly, most people around me didn't even believe I could do anything significant. I thought I would just exist. So I began by learning. I would read a book. I would go to YouTube, watch YouTube, learn, go to seminars, start becoming the person before you can do. In Genesis, it says, be fruitful, do multiply, and then you will have dominion. First, you have to become the person before you can do the thing. And if you do the thing, then you can have the stuff. That's the principle. So you have to become the person first. I studied about wealth. I looked at people that were doing well, and I'd take them out to coffee and ask them questions. And I gleaned off them and tried to learn as much as possible. But learning alone wasn't enough. At some point, I had to take some action, even a tiny step. I started small. I had to get a job first. I was on the pension and I had to save some more income, so I got a job at a call center. Simply sales calls, making something. And then I got my next job, got a pay rise. And then I started, as I'm working, I started a side hustle. I started a business selling spearfishing gear on eBay with a business partner of mine. It was small. It was something. It was doing something. Had to, after learning all those lessons, I had to put them into practice. Wisdom is applying the truth. So I had to glean, I had to get all that knowledge, but then I had to actually do it. I had to go out there and do something with it. And that's where you gain wisdom, by actually in the doing the thing. And then I was able to save up, I'd get a little win. It gave me confidence. And eventually I started to see something I never thought was possible. Maybe, just maybe, there was a glimmer of hope that I could get control back. That after I got a part-time job, maybe I could get a full-time job. After I started this side hustle, maybe it could expand and grow and be something bigger. That shift was from helplessness to action. It's what changed everything. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a miracle. It was choosing to focus on what I could do instead of what I couldn't. And that mindset became the foundation for building my financial freedom. That same mindset allowed me to go from living on a pension to owning multiple real estate properties, investment properties. And once I shifted my mindset, the next step was figuring out how. How do I actually do this? How do I take control of my money and build wealth, especially when life throws you hard curveballs? And that's when I discovered this simple framework that changed my life. Are you ready? Number 1, create a surplus. Right? You have to have more coming in than going out. This is about increasing your income no matter what your starting point is, whether on a pension, whether on a part-time job, maybe getting multiple jobs. For me, that meant using the skill I had and finding opportunities I could handle from in a wheelchair, from being paralyzed, and building side hustles that added money into my pocket. And every dollar I created was a step forward to freedom. And I had to make sure what was coming in was greater than what was going out. Then I had to have a system to capture it. Right? If you make that surplus, if you make that gap, this is where most people fail, that they increase their income, but their lifestyle increases, their expenses increase. But you need to make sure your lifestyle stays the same and your income increases, and then you can capture it. You can put it aside, you budget. You set that aside so you can do something with it. And it's not a restriction, it's about building freedom. Okay, so once you create it, you capture it, then you, number 3, you cultivate it. Right? Cultivate that surplus. Once you've created it and capture it, you need to grow it. For me, that meant learning how to invest, investing in my development at this point. You know, when a farmer cultivates the earth, he needs it, he works it, he fertilizes it, he puts time and energy into getting the soil ready, so when he plants the crops, it's going to grow. This step is about making your money work for you, learning systems that can help you grow your money. And the last one is 4, you've got to compound it. All right? Finally, that's compound the surplus. Small wins become bigger over time. You stay consistent. The money you created, you captured and cultivated grows exponentially over time. It doesn't happen in an instant. And if you let it, for me, my financial investments kept growing. They kept developing, turned into real money over time. Not overnight, over many, many years, by keeping doing these principles. Once you start, you don't stop. You keep capturing, you keep cultivating, you keep compounding, and you keep investing, you keep growing. Looking back, the journey wasn't about making money. It was about what I learned along the way. Lessons that changed my life forever. And these lessons aren't just for me, and they are for anyone that wants to take control of their finances. Okay, ready? Lesson 1. Life doesn't stop because of your your circumstances. Life happens. Life happens to us all. But money still flows no matter what happens. I was a quadriplegic, but didn't mean I couldn't grow, didn't mean I couldn't learn, it didn't mean I couldn't create opportunities. Your situation is just the starting point. It doesn't define you. It's not the finish line. Often we think the way we grew up, the stuff that's happened to us defines us. It doesn't define us. It's simply your starting point. Number 2, your mindset drives your financial future. Mindset drives it more than your ability. Most people focus on what they can't do. I focused on what I could. I could develop my mind. My mind with all these different opportunities. I could develop it. I could grow it. I could drive my financial future. And so can you. You can develop it. You can learn this. Watching this YouTube channel, you're learning how to develop your financial future. Keep it up. Keep going. There's so much more resource out there. Number 3, start small and think big. I didn't buy multiple properties overnight. I started with one. I tracked everything. I learned. I took feedback and I implemented what I learned. I took it on board. And eventually, it started to scale. Everything starts with small steps. If you think, often you hear the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. You've got to start in that direction. Then you iterate, then you grow, then you get feedback and you say, oh, I need to change my direction. Oh, there's a mountain there, I need to go around it. You start to learn. And number 4, setbacks. Use setbacks as leverage, not excuses. My accident was the worst thing that happened to me. But maybe it was the catalyst for helping me build my financial future. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. You don't know if anything's good. You don't know if anything's bad in the moment. Only the future can tell you that. And I thought it was the worst thing that happened to me in my life. But it changed my trajectory. I've got a family. I've got a career. I've got multiple investments. All after having my accident. Completely changed my life, for good or bad. I think for the glory of God. So here's the truth. Life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. I could have let being a quadriplegic define me. Life's over. I'm just a blob. I'm just taking up space in society. But instead, I chose to learn, take action, grow. That choice changed everything. And it can change your life too. If I can do this from a wheelchair, imagine what you can do. Your story, your setbacks, your circumstances, they don't define you. They're your platform for moving forward. How are you going to use them to move you forward and others forward? You don't need a perfect plan or a lucky break. You just need a strategy and courage to start. I put together my surplus blueprint. You can check it out. Go to brokenneckunbrokenwealth.com and you can check it out. You can get the full, you can buy my ebook and you can get the full surplus blueprint. Remember this, setbacks aren't the end. They are the beginning of your story. Take control, take action, and watch what's possible and refuse to give up. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.